A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out my friend too.
All about faith, this is Parker, yeah. Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that. It's
Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this, of course, is a show where we love South African football. We love African football, and we don't do it enough, but we dip our toes into what's happening overseas every now and then. Hope you guys are good. The show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, unless, of course, I have a prior commitment, which I will communicate in my statuses. So please look out for the statuses when the show is not going to be on, or if I'm going to miss a show, or what the schedule changes are. But also, if Chiefs, Sundowns, Pirates, Chiefs, Sundowns, Pirates, Bafana are in action, we will also be live for those games doing watch-alongs. Remember, this is a very interactive show. And it's a show where you can jump in and speak to me while we're here live. Because this show is all about you guys, and you do that by joining me now, those watching on YouTube, joining me now live on TikTok, and then clicking on the button at the bottom of your screen that says multi-guest. You click on it, I let you in, and we can have a good time. Today we're gonna have a different format. So for the first hour, I'm gonna let everybody come in. You're gonna be able to give me a minute or two about what you think about this current topic that we're speaking about, and then of course after that, at 8 o'clock, we're going to go into a members show. It's going to be the members show. You're going to be hearing audio from the members who have neglected a little bit, but we are here. And we're going to continue on the discussion there. If you want to be a member, send me a DM, and then I'll let you know how to do it and how you can join the WhatsApp group where we are going to get the audio from. Okay, so today I want to discuss something interesting. Over the past few weeks, we've been having a very interesting conversation in South African football, especially seeing as how Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates have somewhat chosen to go a different direction in how they're going to attack the Champions League. Some might say that they've been playing a lot of defensive football. Some might say they haven't been as exciting, and they've given up some of the core tenets of what makes them a great team. So the question that I want to ask today, it's something that was phrased in my other show, 3-Man Press, where we had Nkululeko Nkewu on, where he spoke about how we are losing the soul of our football when we start playing like the North Africans. And that, of course, has been repeated throughout social media. Of course, also having it in the review show, we had a caller come in and tell us about the soul of a team. So I wanted to find out whether you guys agree or disagree. Can a team lose its soul? Can a team lose its soul and sell out and do something different? And is it worth it to sell out and do something different? So if you are a ball-playing team, like let's say Mamelodi Sundowns normally is, can you go and play defensive, transitioning football and still live to tell the tale? I also want to ask you guys about whether these teams are better. Is it better? Is it not better? Do you need to win to justify your football, or do we put it on what we like and what we like seeing? So let's see. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Feel free to request and jump in. And then, of course, later on, we will have the member show where we will discuss this thing. So, guys, I'm going to open it up. Let me let Umpo come in. And let's start off with Umpo.
Shosho Oti.
How are you, Umpo?
I'm good, Wena.
I'm Impo. Hey, there's a question here, man, about souls. Firstly, what do you think is the soul of a team, man? What is soul of a team? Soul of a team. What is the soul of a team in your understanding?
For me, in my understanding, from I'll answer from a Mamelodi Sundowns point of view.
Okay.
Well, because we've heard and we've seen how things have changed. Sundowns are a ball-playing team, like piano and shushan forever. And currently, I think lately, since Cardoso has come in, I think they're losing much of that.
Okay.
I'm watching at the Sundowns whereby they are starting to go back to playing much of foreign players, which is not very good for South African football, according to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I want to know if a team can lose a soul, can it gain a soul? Is it wrong for Mamelodi Sundowns to want to play different football, maybe to go win?
I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's putting us in a bit of a predicament because personally I believe like if for example coach Rulani was given a chance, eventually he was going to win the Champions League because his football was out of this world. Not North African teams were scared of the Sundowns that was under Urulan. They tend to even defend at times, even away. Teams would defend against Mamelodi Sundowns. Right now, it's not turning out to be that good, and it's a recipe for disaster because you are facing a team that was a well-oiled machine to being a team that is easily pokeable this time around, and you can find spaces whereby when Rulani was still in charge of the team was scary. Like you wouldn't attack the team would suffocate you with having the ball. Right now it's a little bit more different. So I think they are going in the wrong direction, and personally I think Miguel Cardoso might get fired at the end of the season.
Can I ask, how much do results play into this? Because I know we may be critiquing this Sundowns team right now, but say the season was to end right now. That's what Coach Rulani has done in his time or in his season. Why would he get another season and Caruso not? Or why would he deserve?
For me, he would deserve to get another season because Rulani was exceptional, bro. Like, I mean, going a season and losing only one game and still getting fired says a lot about what is happening behind the scenes. And I've always criticized the fact that, okay, if Rulani managed to lose one game in the whole season in the league, then you fire him. Obviously, that means the other coach that is going to come in, like it's happening right now, they lost in the Nedbank Cup. If they lose in the Champions League, Miguel is gone. There's no exception of that. So you are building a recipe, a bit of a disaster, and you're gonna keep on chopping and changing coaches just because they're losing. Because sometimes I believe you can play good years and not get results, but eventually it'll pay off, rather than winning bad, knowing very well that it's not sustainable.
So can I ask you? So can I ask you?
Yeah.
We've only got 2 Champions Leagues, for example. We've only got 1 AFCON title to our name. I'd say the best times that we've had, or the wins that we've had. Okay, let me not say that. On the 2016 winner Sundowns was ugly, and this beautiful football that we've been championing has not brought any results. Is that not a recipe of disaster to continue doing the same thing? Because the results are in. It's 30 years.
It's a little bit of a debate right there. It's a little bit of a debate, but for me, as looking at Sundowns, I think for me it's crumbling. Because if you're gonna be starting having six to seven players that are not from SA, what are you saying to the national team? See, we're not gonna obviously be liking it as South Africans that you get to choose a Modiba who sits on the bench most of the time. You get to choose maybe a let's say Malibongo Khoza, who we know he's exceptional, the quality is there, but now he's not playing. I think it's a downfall there by our national team. So, yeah, I think Sundowns are losing it.
Guys, please remember that 8 o'clock, this is going to become a members show. The members are the guys who are contributing towards the show. If you want to become a member, send me a DM and I'll tell you how. I'm going to try fit in as many people before we go too far. Let me go to Usinje. Sinje, the showstopper. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Sibashaya abantu babezi temptations zibacula ama soul to soul. Kuvuka amatopiki. We should beat Sundowns more.
CJ, tell me, let's start here. What do you think is a soul of a team when we speak about it?
Well, I think the soul of a team, for me, it is what makes the football that the team plays look alive.
Okay.
Would be what makes a soul of the team.
Can the soul be defensive?
Well, that means that yes, it can be. Yes, it can be. It can be defensive. The soul can be defensive. The soul can, because the soul also displays the complexion of the team and the football that the team plays. So if at the soul of the team lies defensiveness, then that's what the outlook of the football that the team is going to play is going to look like. The question is then I have is that who does that benefit? You know, who does it benefit at the end of the day when you are defensive, right? And I think I said this before. The best way that Europe wants to control football, it is to brainwash non-European football to look European so that they will always have an upper hand. In order for someone to say he's the GOAT, he's in Europe, and the stats go, he scored 1,000 goals in 500 or 700 games.
Yeah.
Will you get that in a defensive soul team? When you get who's the top striker in the world, where is he? How many goals have you scored? Why don't we get that from African teams? That makes our football not to be commercial and sellable and investable. Who wants to invest in a league that the top goal scorer is 20 goals? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as it's nice, who's going to come and fund a league? 10 million. How long has the PSL been 10 million? Vis-a-vis other leagues in the world. And why is it not going high up? If the soul of the team is defensive, then are we not also shooting ourselves in the foot in terms of people coming to watch? Who wants to go to the stadium and watch defensive football for 90 minutes?
Can I ask you then?
Yes.
Could you argue that in pursuit of this entertaining football, a lot of the teams have maybe ignored their actual souls? So maybe your soul is, I defend, I score one. You know what I mean? I win by one goal, I do it consistently, and then the excitement becomes the best defense versus the best attack. But now it seems as though identities are missing from a lot of the teams. Could you argue that maybe we've lost that SuperSport plays a specific type of way versus Black Leopards versus Banbane versus Celtic versus whatever, and what's exciting is the clash? Could you sell that?
Yeah, look, I think that's also what makes the football that is played on the field to be entertaining, is that you get to play different types of football. You know, you get to play caution football, and you get to play like proper. It's like cricket. You get T20 where you get to see six sixes in one over. Vis-a-vis when you are playing a test game where you get a 6 there and there because it's longer. PSL is like that. You have to. There are times in your 60 games where you have to pace yourself, and that's why you have cups, you have your MTN8s, you have so that you also play that kind of football that you want to play. So for me, it's you can't have one directed football. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that a team has to balance. You have to find balance, and I think where the soul then comes in, it is that in the balance of football that you play, the complexion of it still draws people to come in and be entertained and to watch and to support and to be in the mood, to enhance the mood. Because imagine if you have Celtic fans that are chanting and yet you are playing a football that is not invoking them to chant even harder. Do you get what I mean?
But wouldn't you chant to the win? Like, for example, just for 30 seconds quickly, Sinja, wouldn't
Yes.
let's say, look at Kaizer Chiefs. Over the past 10 years, arguably, our best moments have come from what some might call negative football, some might call helicopter football, some might call ugly football.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Chiefs embrace that as their soul and say, "Ay guys, every time we've done it, it's worked out." Or we've come close to winning trophies, we've come close to a star, we've come close to winning the league, closest that any team has been in the last 10 years. Why won't Chiefs say, okay, that's our soul now? Because it wins. I mean, if we won that league, I don't think anybody would be sitting here complaining. If we won the Champions League, I don't think anybody would be sitting here complaining. We'd point to the star and we'd say, guys, we've got a star.
But from my recollection of the Chiefs was not playing a defensive.
No, but it was ugly.
They were not
Let's
playing
not
a
say defensive. Let's say ugly. It was Gavin Hunt football.
But still, Mr. Oti, there were entertaining moments on that football. Your Ngobos were very entertaining in that football. Yeah, you had players that are playing very entertaining football, even though the structure of the team was defensive, but they were very entertaining in terms of going forward. That's why they've got those many goals in terms of being accurate also in the football that they were playing.
But we don't mention them. We don't mention Hunt. We don't mention Middendorp. If you ask any Chiefs fans here, I'll ask in the comments, guys, how do you feel about Middendorp? I don't think anybody's positive.
Yeah, 2 seconds before the reason why I wouldn't speak about Middendorf is that it didn't have another type of football to play, because once people locked the air balls, locked the crosses, but the person that is precise in crossing was sold. He didn't have a plan B, and that's why he lost the league. So for me, as I said in the beginning, you have to have stages in terms of playing football. You have to have gears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't be stuck in gear 1. You'll never win anything, no matter how defensive your football is. If when it comes to attack, you don't have a plan B, when your plan A is not working, then you're not going to go anywhere. Simple as that.
But that's still the closest coach. Jose Rivero came, Banbani came, people, that's still by far even the closest coach to winning a league in the Sundowns era. So why don't you respect him as such?
I think Brandy has a song that says almost doesn't count, but anyway, have a lovely day.
Okay. Let me bring it into Tandanani. Tandanani, welcome to the show. How are you? Tandanani, are you with me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, my brother. I can hear you. I'm going to start here, Tandanan. What is the soul of a team? I want to understand what we mean when we say the soul of a team.
Personally, I feel like it's the identity football of the team. What you recognize the team for. Because if you still remember, the football identity of Brazil was the flair, dribbling players, creating chances and scoring. They were known for being Samba boys. Today, can we say that these Brazilians that we've had for the past 10 years are the Samba boys, excluding Neymar? No, we can't. Because they've been forcing and trying to adopt their European football, and what have they accomplished? Nothing. And so now, as South Africans, we once fell down that line for the past few years, trying to force that European football, and we've been hammered across Africa, not making it past group stages, not qualifying for the World Cup, and then us listening to Europeans, showboating. But at the end of the day, that's our identity of football. Just because their players can't do it doesn't mean we should not do it. Young Tol. If you think about it, look at their best, let's say their best right back. Have you ever seen David Beckham dribbling a player on the wings in order to before creating a goal scoring opportunity? The answer is no. So now there's this thing that they say it's a negative football that we are playing right now. I'd say it's adapting to the situation that we are in right now. Because look at Orlando Pirates when they started the CAF football. We've been playing beautiful football throughout the group stages, beating each and every team. Right now, each and every team has now studied that type of football. So that's what they've been expecting. So now we going into the knockout stages, it's a different football. They can't predict us, because if you think about it, MC Alga came in prepared to play fire with fire. That strategy was not going to last. That was not going to work. So we came up with something that's totally different for that day, and it actually worked. And look at Pirates when they played Mamelodi Sundowns. When we played Mamelodi Sundowns in in Loftus, it was hard to watch, because we were trying to play our normal football, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
So now there comes a point at which, like, we ask ourselves, should our players be known for one thing, or should they be able to be like adapt? Like they can play in different levels of football. They should not be known for one thing, because right now Pirates, they are known, like, when it's time to defend, they respect defending. When it's time to attack, they can give you like the best attacking football. If you think about it, not so long ago, in the quarterfinals, there was this moment when Pirates played that 45 pass football. Are we going to say that moment was negative football? No, it wasn't. It's because we knew that football was suitable for that kind of match. So basically, it actually shows you like our players are able to adapt. Even Saturday right now, I don't know what kind of football Jose Rivero is going to play. Only he knows what he is going to do. It actually gives us this element of being unpredictable to the opponents. So don't you think that for the past few years we've made it to the semifinals because we've been too predictable? This is what we are going to do. This is what we need to expect from the teams from South Africa. This is what they're going to do. This is how we're going to counter it. But now when we bring like different game plans, they don't know what to prepare for.
So what do you say to the people that say that there's a risk that should, let's say, Pirates win with this football, or Sundowns win a star with this football, it might make the team want to focus more on that, and maybe dilutes the Shushan and piano side? And is it sustainable to be able to play both footballs all the time, or are you losing something when you're not sharpening your sword?
You're not losing anything. Like, think about it this way: would you rather be known for one thing? Let's say a master of one direction football, or a master of all trades. Think about it. England is well known for that one direction football. What have they won in the past 100 years? Their football has never evolved.
But then could you argue that Spain became world champions, became European champions when they were playing tiki-taka exclusively, and they made tiki-taka the football that beat everyone? When Brazil was at the top of their reign, they were only playing samba football. They made samba football so strong that it overpowered every other football you could see up to that point. What do you say to that argument, that maybe you should refine your football to the point where it beats everyone?
It comes back to this thing I was talking about, like able to bring in a element of being unpredictable. Look at City. City was well known for dominating possession, but look at them right now. You won't say, like, looking at them play, you won't say that they are, because they are being too predictable. You won't say this is the city that dominated the European football for the last 10 years. Yeah, last 8 or 7 years. You won't say that this is the city that did that, because they no longer have that element of being unpredictable. When something is new and dominating, that's unpredictable, everyone looks at it and say this is the thing. Look at the teams that all wanted to play the tiki-taka football. Spain, what's this? It was Spain. England even tried to copy it. Gareth Southgate tried to copy it. City also played it. But look at it at the end of the day. Once they've mastered how to counter that tiki-taka football, look at what Netherlands did to Spain in the time they destroyed them 5-1. It's actually, it comes to show like they are no longer versatile. They only know that one style of football. But being able to master what you know, your core, that will take you to a certain point. When people start adapting to that, be able to adapt. Because if you think about it, it's the same as in terms of our business. If you do not adapt with times, you are bound to fall off. Look at BlackBerry. Where is it right now? Because BlackBerry didn't want to evolve with the times. That's the thing. Be able to adapt. Look at Nokia. Nokia was very good.
But 20 seconds, can I ask you, would you say that Brazil was maybe guilty of thinking that evolving was going European? And inadvertently, they lost their style of play because they thought that evolution means we're moving towards Europe. Could that also play into this?
It comes back to that thing that I said earlier on. Maintain your core, but be able to adapt to what's this different matches. Not like saying like strip off your entire football, strip off your entire football structure. If you think about it, Brazilian kids, they only know samba football from that point, like from the early development football. And then when you bring it to the senior national team, and then you are forcing them to play European football, 100% European football, it won't work. Be able to adapt. Let's say, for instance, in portions of the game, in our first 10 minutes, we're going to play our samba football, but let's be able to defend and help out like you understand now, be able to adjust in times of like when it requires you to adjust, not like strip down your entire core, your identity, just so that you can fit in. Be able to adapt with times.
Now, for time, I want to jump in. Very, very valid points. Let me go to Amina. Amina, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sure, Puti, how are you?
Mina ngimnandi man. Ngicela ukubuza kuqala. Lento abathi soul yini? Basho ukuthini babathi soul of a team?
Puti, let's just explain to everyone, because I think it was yesterday or somewhere I spoke about the soul of a team.
Yes.
You know, it's the style of football. And first and foremost, I want to say that football is a product. Before you even play the game, football is a product. You know, we need to be entertained. Because even if Sundowns or Pirates, they win the CAF this year, what memories are we going to have as supporters to say that, oh, this player was so magnificent? You know, when Pirates won CAF or Sundowns, they did this and that. You look back to the Sundowns of 2016 when they won CAF. You remember Andonda 4 scoring cracker goals, Biliati, King and Dolly. So we've got memories. But now, what memories are we going to have if Sundowns win CAF? We have no memories. We have nothing. It is just them lifting the trophy.
Does it matter? Does it matter 10 years from now? Because, you know, Pirates as a star, I don't even know what Pirates was playing in that times. We don't have any records of it. All we know is that Pirates won. Does it matter? I mean, Chiefs could have played incredible football, let's say, quote unquote. I'm not saying they did, but could have played incredible football for the last 10 years. But we could look at them and say, you have nothing in your hand. So what memories do I have of that, if not almost and maybe lost games?
The thing, I go back to again to this point. You know, although I hear what you're saying, but remember, South African football, we play carpet football. We are like Brazilians, we're like Spaniards. That's what we are known for. Let us not lose our identity because we are trying to impress or win something. Let us win with our own style of football of playing. We don't, because you must remember, there are kids at Soweto, there are kids at Alexandra, there are kids at KZN, wherever, Kimberley, that are watching Umahopa playing the way he's playing. And those kids, they see Makopa as an idol, but the way he's playing, they are watching him. And those kids, they say, that's my role model. That's why people today, they love Ronaldo and Messi, because those guys, they're unique. You know, they entertain. If you look at Ronaldo and Messi, the way they score goals, the way they win trophies, it's entertaining. That's why everybody wants to see them, wants to watch them. How many players in Africa now that you can say that this player is entertaining? In the PSL, do you have wingers that they take their men on? Every time I watch the PSL football, it's left and right. Everybody trying to play safe. I mean, if you look at the Sundowns game, Sundowns, they don't play with wingers. They only play with two strikers up front. And those strikers, that's why it's not working, because there's only one creative player, which is Ribeiro. They are giving him all the workload to say, Ribeiro, carry the team. You need players who are creative, players who are going to play the Sundowns way.
But can I ask then, you know, you mentioned Ronaldo and Messi, as unique as they were, isn't the bar that you have to go and win? Are we not giving credit to our football without having the wins? Because all of the people that you're pointing to, when you speak about the Brazilians, when you speak about the Spaniards, when you speak about Cristiano Ronaldo, when you speak about all the great teams, the big thing was that they won. You know, Bafana, when they were playing our football and they were winning, we remember them. How much do results play into this, and how long can you wait for a football to give you results before doing something?
Before I even get to that point, we have to look back to our football, not just in Africa, in South Africa to be specific. Because football is not a copy and paste. You develop players. So if now you have coaches in the PSL that are playing anti-football, all this mediocre that we are seeing, you know, this anti-football where we are playing long balls. I want to take you back to when Kaizer Chiefs reached the CAF final and they almost won the league. We kept on saying to people that Chiefs, they will not win the league. They will not win CAF. They are going to be embarrassed because Millendorf was playing helicopter football. And what happened? They didn't win. And when they didn't win, everybody came back to say that, but we're not going to win this football. You know, it was play the ball to Uzuma and cross to Nukovic goal. So that football will not take us anywhere. Because if you look at Chiefs now, a few years ago, they almost won the league. They almost won CAF. Where are they now? Now they are miles away. They are miles off. So that tells you already that as a team, you must play the way the supporters know the team, the culture of the team, the soul.
So can I ask you, if then I say that since when Pitso was winning, Middendorp, regardless of any other coach, has come the closest to toppling Sundowns, then we also say that maybe Middendorp coming close to winning the league in that season led to the following season where we get to the CAF final. Could I make the argument that maybe you continue with that football because that has been your most successful? And when you look across the league, even when you look at both Coach Jose Rivero, they've won trophies, but when it comes to a league, for example, they're 23 points away last season, 16 points before that, I think 9 points before that. Surely then we have to give credit to Middendorp for being the closest coach of everybody to toppling Sundowns. And maybe having a foundation that took Chiefs to the CAF Champions League. That hasn't been done before.
You know, people are saying that our football is not winning. And I want to remind people, because people now, you know, they got it all confused. You know, they're excited because their teams are winning. You know, I'm a Pirates fan, but I'm not happy with the way we are currently playing. Why? Because we've got the players. If you go back to the season, start of the season, when it was Mabasa, Urele, Saleng, and Maswangai, our front four players. That is those are the players whereby the team must be built around. You build a team around certain players.
But why?
So those players are the
what's the goal?
Because those players are the core of the team. They play the style of football that we know Orlando Pirates plays. So now, if you are playing Mahopa, you are sacrificing what you call it, you are sacrificing the team for one individual. Because now, Mfukeng can't play with Mahopa because Mahopa can't play 1-2. That's what I'm saying. Maswangaye wants to play the ball on the ground. Mahopa wants to play the ball MON. So now, what you are saying is that the whole team must adapt to Mahopa, the way he wants to play football. That's sacrificing the soul of the team. That is what we mean when we say Uchozi Rivero is now playing negative football, because this football is not the Pirates' way.
But then I'm still asking that, like, Mahopa has a bronze medal in the AFCON. He was one of the players that played. Right now, Pirates is unbeaten in a season where Mabasa hasn't played much football in the league. In the Champions League, they're unbeaten in a season where Mabasa has not played any football. That much football. If we want the soul of the team so much, Pirates is doing something they've never done with Mahopa. Are we overlooking the fact that maybe that could be the new soul? And maybe that's a result soul. That's something that's actually building something. Whereas the football you've been playing before, as great as it was, hasn't given you these type of things.
You know, my brother, this topic, I don't want to attack a player, but to be honest, you know, because criticism is a form of support. When I'm criticizing you, I'm supporting you because I want you to do better automatically. So if you look at Mahopa, let's just profile him for a minute. What is Mahopa? Mahopa is a striker. A striker is supposed to score goals. And again, I'm gonna say, the way you play now determines your future.
Yeah.
You need to create cohesion with players. So if you are playing Mahopa ahead of Mabasa, who, by the way, Mabasa last season was the top scorer in the PSL. He won the Golden Boot. A player cannot be paid overnight. This is the.
But what did that bring you as a team? That's an individual award. What did the team gain? That's different for this season.
We won trophies.
But you've won trophies this year too. You've got the MTN8. You're going to a CAF Champions League semi. You're going to a Nedbank Cup final. Seems the same, if not a little bit better.
But what are we doing? Are we playing to win trophies or are we playing to entertain? Because if you are saying to me, you are now playing the way Ahly plays. I mean, Ahly have won the Champions League multiple times, but who remembers that?
They do. Team of the century.
Can you pick a moment? Can you pick a moment to say that in this period in time, Ahly won the Champions League? This player scored the wonderful goal. This player did wonders. The only moment I remember is Abu Trika at Orlando Stadium when he scored a free kick. That's the only moment that I remember Ahly when they beat Orlando Pirates in the CAF Champions League. That's the only moment.
Well, there was the 4-0. Was it 4-0 versus Chiefs? Yeah, but anyway.
That's only because Kaizer Chiefs was playing anti-football. You know, this
No, I'm talking Brian Baloyi. I'm talking Brian Baloyi when we got beat. Yeah. No, anyway. Yeah.
But no, OT, my brother, just to close, for me personally, I'm not a fan of the way Sundowns and Pirates, you know, just to say the PSL, the football. We need, because now, you look at Relem Fukeng. Relem Fukeng, how many seasons has he been playing? This is the second season, but already, to many footballing fans, Fukeng is now the best player. Why? Why are we not saying to the South African kids, Mfukeng is the face of the league, as he is? I want all of the kids to look up to Maswangaye, Mfukeng, Tembazwane, and Ronan Williams, and mokwena. These are the players that play a South African way.
Off of the back of Mahopa, because Relay has space because of Mahopa, and Kota scores goals because of Mahopa's movement too. So I don't want to downplay Mahopa just so that we can say Relay is the best in J, if that makes sense.
It does make sense at some point, but again, Mahopa has been given an opportunity.
Okay.
He's missing opportunities. He's making bad decisions on the pitch. How many hat-tricks has he scored?
Okay.
In a game, average a game. How many goals does Makopa scored in a game if you average a game? How many can he create space for himself? Can he make other teammates better? This idea, you know, it hurts me a lot because I was watching Pirates. They were playing against the Nedbank Cup when we were playing against Marumo Gallants. That game, I was so frustrated because why are we playing Makopa for 90 minutes when he's not giving the team anything? This idea that Makopa must chase and chase and chase and chase and run around like headless chicken. What is it doing for us? If he's gonna press by himself, if Jose Rivero is playing Makopa because Makopa is pressing and is hustling, for me, you are already saying to the team that I'm defending.
Okay.
Why are we not capitalizing on our strength? Because Pirates, they've got players. You know, this argument was going to be not valid if we didn't have players. But my cry is we've got the players.
For time, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in just for time's sake so I can bring in the other guys before we go into the members show. Let me go to Butlale. Butlale, welcome to the show. How are you?
OT, what's going on, OT?
I'm good, my brother. I'm going to start off with the question I've asked everybody. What is the soul of a team?
You know, OT. By the way, I have you know, healed myself, so that's a win for the week already. So OT, I think this term gets thrown around, you know, loosely because I think it's a term that, you know, people have different. It's not a solid term. It's a term that people have different, you know, definitions. You can ask me what soul, then you can ask the next person what soul. You get two different answers. Now, what I get from soul is that soul is the identity of a team. Soul is the culture of the team. That's what from what I've been hearing by people, you know, that I look up to in terms of analysis of the game. What I've been picking up is that soul is how, you know, a team, you know, facilitates itself, how a team, you know, the identity of the team. Now, in terms of, you know, losing the soul, I think, you know, our football has to evolve. You know, our football cannot stay the same and not evolve as football is evolving, because that means that, you know, I'm talking from a South African perspective. That means if we are not evolving and we want our football to stay the same Shushana and piano, the same everything, while football is evolving, then football is outpacing us. And what happens when football outpaces us? We don't win. When was the last time a South African team has won the CAF Champions League? 9 years ago. OT. That means our football has not evolved. OT. Now, I'm not saying let's lose, you know, the concept of South African football, because OT, let's remember, OT, we are very talented. OT, we are amongst the most talented in this continent. OT, we, you know, North Africans, you know, I wouldn't say North Africans. No, I wouldn't say. It's a fact that North Africans are not more talented than us. We are more technical than North Africans. We have more skill than North Africans. We are just, you know, profiling a player. We are better on the ball than North Africans. But the problem is our philosophy of football has not changed in the past 20 decades. I'm not saying let's just lose it. I'm saying let's tweak it so that it aligns with winning football today.
Okay.
OT.
So can I ask? So when we use the word evolve, does the evolution have to be going into North African type football? Let's say results-based North African type football, or is there an evolution where we can take our football and go to the next level of our football and go win? Does it have to? Does evolution have to follow what's happening in the world, or can we lead an evolution of our own with our own football? Is it possible?
Now you make a very, you know, that's a very good question, because in the last 10 years, right, we have seen North African teams win the CAF Champions League because of the way that they have influenced that their own football. Uti. You know, I'm not old enough to tell you what type of football North Africans were playing 20 years ago. I haven't seen the maturity of their football over a certain amounts of years, and how, you know, they've been winning it over the last 10 years is obviously, you know, they are moments teams. Now, if that's how they are winning, why don't we, you know, take inspiration from that and not completely change our football, but integrate, you know, kind of those, you know,
Principles.
you know, part, huh?
Those principles.
Yes, principles, right? Let's just integrate that into our football. Now, don't lose the soul of our football, but tweak it so that it aligns with winning football, because we have football is about entertainment as well. We can't completely lose ourselves. OT. It's about, you know, football is not just about winning. Winning is a monumental part of football, but not only the only, you know, thing football is about. It's also about our entertainment as as fans of football. So if we're completely losing ourselves, that means we are, you know, not caring about the entertainment of football fans. But if we are not as well evolving our football and evolving our football in order to win, then it means that we don't want to win. We don't want to win enough. OT.
Can I
So
can
what
I
I
ask though? I want to ask about entertainment. Can we learn to be entertained differently? Because obviously there's goals entertainment, there's, you know, Shibobo entertainment, Shugela entertainment, there's, you know, sometimes you watch a defensive performance where the guys are just blocking and doing whatever and you're entertained. There's winning trophies that are entertaining, there's the stats guys that are entertained. Is there one way to enjoy football or find football entertaining? And can, as a country, can we learn a different way? Just on the side, can we learn a different way of being entertained, or is it just
now
not gonna happen?
Now, OT, I'm talking about general entertainment. As a country, what do we, and when we look at football, as a country, what do we like? OT, generally, what does a country like? You know, because the average South African, you know, is not a football analyst. OT, the average South African watches football, and, you know, he just watches the game because he's been watching it all his life, and he just likes the concept of football. So I'm talking in terms of entertainment. I'm talking on the perspective of that person. I'm putting myself into that person's shoes, and I'm saying, what does he like to see? And what he likes to see might not be winning football. It might be shushan and piano, but not winning football. See, so I'm saying, if we can tweak it to where he still likes the football, but it has a winning aspect to it, then I think that would be, you know, the best situation for us as South African. In terms of, can we learn to love other types of football, then I go back to your videos where after every, you know, I'm a Chiefs fan, you're a Chiefs fan. After you have, you know, after you are, when you are reviewing Chiefs matches, OT, a lot of the times, even when we have won, you said that match was boring, OT. A lot of the times, when I think about a match where we won and you said it was boring, I can't think of one right now, but there's been a lot, right? Where you can also say yourself that you said that we won this game, but it was boring football. You said it yourself.
Well,
That's what I'm
the
talking
full
about.
statement is that it was a boring game, and that was amazing. Because I think we try and play an exciting game and keep losing, but sometimes you need to be boring and win the game. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
It's empty. You get me?
Thank you. That's my point. And I'm saying, why sometimes let's create our own evolution, OT. Let's create our own evolution and say, okay, maybe let's integrate a few boring parts, because we have discovered that some boring football is sometimes what gets you over the line. And we have to ask ourselves the question that do we ourselves want to get ourselves over the line for the sacrifice of some parts of our own game? Do we want it enough at that point? Because that's a very important question, because make that line over to win the Champions League as a South African team, we might have to integrate parts of boring football. And that's just the pain of it, because our football right now, let me just say what Sundowns is playing, Shushan and Piano 90 minutes, might not win you. I mean, it hasn't won us a Champions League in the last 9 years.
Yeah.
So from basic evidence, we can see that this type it hasn't worked. So let's tweak it. Let's tweak it, and let's integrate winning football into our own football. Let's make it still appealing to the South African eye, but let's integrate winning into that style of football.
For time, I'm going to jump in so I can bring in Tyler. Tyler, welcome to the show. How are you?
OT, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mara, Tyler, send me a message. Oh, you didn't send me, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll speak.
You guys gave me a red card there.
You must just tell me. Sometimes I miss these things. But Tyler, what is the soul of a team?
Oh, network.
Oh, Tyler.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yes, OT. No.
Okay. So I'm going to jump you straight into it. What is the soul of a team?
I think, the latter speaker have taken some of the words, some of the other things I wanted to say, but just to be short when OT, not sure if you still hearing me, but I will continue. For me, the soul of a team when OT, I'll start it from this point. As South Africans, we are not tall. We don't have tall players. We are tactical. We have tactical players. That is our physique in the southern region. And then you've got the northern guys. They're physique. They're tall. Now it allows them to play a certain style of football, which we refer to as the Gumka football. They play with wings because they're tall. Us as South Africans, we are very gifted. We have got very gifted players. Hence, you could find abo vilakazi, abo Skarangobese, Chabupule, abo Chomosono, you name. So now, then what does that tell you then when OT? It tells you that the soul of our football in South Africa, is based on the physical structure of the player and the intellectual ability to play a certain style of structure and carry that certain style of structure. But now, over the last 10 years and 20 years, we have seen Pitso winning this thing. What he has done? Have we documented that? Have we documented that as South African players? Do we even have researchers as South African teams to check, and put that as a philosophy under Sundowns? Pitso has won it like this, So when OT, as I was trying to say, it based on the tactical ability of the players, and the material. Is solely a team. For example,
can I just ask, Tyler, are we doing enough with this soul? Because for me, two things stick out for me. Number one, we know that we're short, we like the passes, we can't do certain things. And we put enough effort and time and development and structure into making sure that football that we have is at the level that can go world class?
Yes.
Or are we just sitting down and saying, you know, I love entertaining football. Doesn't matter what the results are as long as I'm entertained, and we kind of leave it at that. Similar to our developmental questions. In Twania Shisa from Itembisa, we kind of ride the natural ability of that kid instead of building upon that natural ability. For example, I'm not just using it as an example. Are we doing enough to make that soul a thing, or are we just looking at the soul and saying, Hashem, we like you, so it doesn't matter what happens?
We're not, OT. You know what causes that? Is the PSL chairmans. You know, all these chairmans, they want a new quick noodles results. Now, when you want a quick noodle result, you score one goal. What's going to happen? You know what happened to your predecessor the last time when he lost against his team, or when he lost 4 games, or when he lost 5 games in a row. That's why Mazinho was playing the way he was playing, because you know, he knows his job is on the line. So that sacrifice when OT, that's so. You know, so even the chairmen of PSLs need to look at themselves in the mirror. Why are we no longer playing the same type of football we're no longer playing? Now, you've got one team that's trying to evolve, Mamelodi Sundowns. They're bringing guys from outside the country to say, Tina and Sundowns who are playing this Shushan and piano. However, Alende, you can come with your, you know, with how you play there at Chile, you know, to make us tick. You know, but the coach himself, he knows what happened to Mangoba. He knows what happened to Rulani. So what do you think is going to happen? He scores one goal and he's going to close the doors. And he's sacrificing what? That's so. Same as Ulenduka. But I commend Rivero. What is the coach's parade? Rivero. Rivero, at least he has tried, you know. He has tried to put in youngsters, blend this thing, and he wants these guys to play the way they play. But now we are faced a North African team that plays this anti-football. You are forced to put in Mahopa. You are forced to put in Mahopa because this is the type of football they play. So you need to counter that with what the material that you have in order to win, and it has worked for him. You know, so this thing needs to evolve, guys. If we need to go outside Africa and check what other models are there and to develop our football, let's do that.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
Let's do that. Because at the end of the day, you need to win. You need to win as a coach. Thanks, OT.
For time, I'm going to bring in Benny. Benny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Mr. OT.
Benny, hey,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I want to know, first question, what is the soul?
Faga zero, sir. Faga zero, sir. Faga zero. When it comes to the soul, Faga zero, sir. I'm failing to understand. You know, sometimes when you speak terms and verbatims, we need to be able or be in the space to be able to elaborate on the context of the term.
Yeah.
This is football that we are speaking here, and I cannot be taken away by the term soul of the game and be in the space whereby I'm failing to look at the successful generation here about Dr. Kumalo, 1996, the generation here, 1995, Orlando Pirates, whereby if you go back there, you want to find this culture. I'm not going to speak about the soul because the soul, I will fail dismally, so Mr. Oti. But what is the culture of the team? What is the culture? And what is the objective of a football? Number one. Those are the things that I want to discuss. Because I've been hearing people speaking about anti-football, and while you are discussing anti-football, you are dragging a Mahopa in. We can go back to 2018. France versus France when they're winning World Cup.
France versus Belgium.
We can go and check the stats. Yeah, we can go and check the stats there. Even the whole tournament, Mr. OT. Go and find how many goals did Giroud scored. But Go and find the movement that allowed Mbappe to get into the space. The movement of Giroud that allowed a Griezmann. Why I'm taking you back to each generation of Dr. Kumalo is that Dr. Kumalo was the only player that can dance in that national team. And Eshuz Musheu, that's the other player that I can recall that could dance. So what is the soul of South African football? Because behind Dr. Kumalo, there was Eric Tinkler, a John Tungi Muen, a Mwepi. Tell me, how many dribbles would you get from Eric Tinkler? How many dribbles would you get from a John Mwet? If we are speaking about dribbling and as entertainment. If we speak positional football, then I will understand. Let us go to Spain. Because to have that tika-taka, you needed a recycler that is very good. If we speak about a recycler there, we speak about Busquets.
Okay.
You understand? Whenever a Xavi was going to lose a ball because they wanted that system to work, there was a Busquets behind the Xavi. And you had an Iniesta that was very good in keeping football, the ball position and the rotation. So what is the objective of a club? So I'm failing to understand this thing, the verb soul or the term soul in football. So we are here, man. We are entangled, Mr. Oti, in this soul thing. What is the soul? And the soul is gauged according to what objective of the team. Because I can take you back, Orlando Pirates, they're saying Orlando Pirates is an anti-football team. Go and look at the goal that Dlamini scores. Look at the movement, Tiaga Maho, but taking these defenders away from the run where Tito needs to go. I can take you 2004, 2005 under Constantine Papik. We had the Vum Vum, we had the Mokwena, we had Utlazamu Fedi, we had Steve Lecolia, very talented players at Orlando Pirates. What did they win? What did they bring? We want memories to say, yes, we had a Vum Vum, we had a Mokwena that was going to go to defenders. And what can you prove? It's something else, man, Mr. Oti. I'm not sure whether I'm still audible or not.
No, I hear you perfectly. But okay, I wanna highlight it.
I'm not sure whether I'm saying things that are outlined.
Okay, Penny, I think. Can you hear me, Penny? I think, okay. For time's sake, I'm gonna jump in because we have to go to the members show now. Here's my thing. I think one of the hardest things to do is to change something that you know. And that's just human. Wanting to change a thing that you know, you understand that you're comfortable, and going to something that maybe you're not comfortable with is a very tough change, right? My issue with when we talk about our football and we talk about all of those things, how do you measure it? Because the conversations I've had about this soul and all of those things, for me, I sit back and I go, but you can't say you are better than just because you feel as though you like that football. You can't just say that. That football must go and be tested with other footballs, and then we go, you are better. Not because I like it, not because I grew up watching it, not because I'm in a country, let's say, that values drama, not because of those things, but because it went out into the world and it fought the rest of the footballs and it won. So the way I see it, for me, you always have two options. For me, it's always two options. Here we are as South Africa. What are the facts? The facts are, there was a time when South African football was winning. You could even argue that we were winning because we're new, but anyway. We were winning because we've got our football, we're playing, it's going up against the world, and it's doing well. We've won the AFCON, there's the games versus Brazil, there's all of these things that they've done. So they've proven, they've gone out and they've proven. There was a time when Pirates went and won the CAF Champions League. They proved that they're the best. But ever since then, for 30 years, I think we've shown that our football has not improved or gotten to the point where it can go stand with the world and go win. And I feel like there's the complacency that we have with our football, where we go, no, we are just better. Yeah, full stop. And it doesn't matter what results you get at that time. So again, there's two things you can do. Number one, there's a shortcut. Ahly and them have sharpened their football to the point where they win this CAF Champions League over and over and over and over and over and over again. So the shortest space towards maybe getting to them is to copy them and say, okay, we're gonna play some of your football or a lot of your football within our teams because we are shortening that space, right? That's number one. Or number two, you actually care about your football. And when I mean care, I mean, hey, you put resources behind it. You go and study it. You go and do all of it. I say all of the time here on the show, for those who watched, I always say, guys, I know what a catenaccio is. It's a term. It's been put down. It's been studied. They can tell you the father of catenaccio. They can tell you all of those things. You know about the different terms and the different tactics and the different, because those guys have taken time to go and look at their football and say, okay, what is our football? Let's study it. Let's drill all the way down so that when we build back up, we know what we are doing. That football that we speak about from 19 whatever was a 4-4-2, for example. Now they're trying to do a 4. We don't know why we are doing these things. And you have to then develop this football to the point where, again, it can go stand next to other people. Papa says, so you don't know what Vulavala is. What is Vulavala? What situations is Vulavala great at? What analysis have we done on Vulavala to say that, okay, if I can take Vulavala and add it to this and add it to this and add it to this, you get this type of player. Or if I go the other way, Vulavala can be used. We haven't done those things. We just say Vulavala, and it's up to the person who's talented enough to go do it themselves. So you have to go and study this football and make it a winning football. When the Samba boys were the Samba boys, it was a winning football. When Tiki Taka was at its peak, it was a winning football. Not, it's nice, I like it. No, it's nice, I do. No, it's nice, we're better. They went out and they won. We're praising guys and we're overlooking the other part. The problem is we're overlooking the other side of it. Hugo Bruce has done something that no Bafana coach has done in the last, 20 years or something like that. Playing football that we don't like. Gavin Hunt almost took Chiefs to a Champions League. Playing football that we don't like. Mazinho was the closest guy to Mamelodi Sundowns in that time of winning the league. With football we don't like. Gavin Hunt won three leagues in a row with Supersport and Bidvest Wits. With football we don't like. Stuart Baxter won the last trophies for Chiefs, let's say, for example. With football we don't like. All I'm hearing is that outside of Sundowns, all of our football that we like and whatever hasn't been that successful. But we're stubborn. We don't want to change. We don't want to look at the things honestly and say this is what it is and go from there. And when you know what this is, then you go, okay, we're going to do this. No, but Papa Khosi, the closest almost counts. Second place gets a silver medal. If my time is 10 minutes and your time is 15, my time is still better than yours, which means I'm closer. But if you value your thing over mine, you look at yourself and you say, 15 points. What is it? No, I was better than you. He lost it on the final day. Jose Rivero at his peak was only 9 points close. I think it was 9 points. It's been 16, it's been 23 points. The gap. So Middendorp is one of the most successful coaches league-wise that we've had that haven't won. So all of your favorites have not been able to do anything better. That counts. I'm not saying that it's football, you must do it or take it, but those are the things. But anyway. Let me start the member show, guys. This is the member show. We're coming live from the group, the WhatsApp group. So if you want to join the WhatsApp group, please tell me. Send me a message, and we'll go from there while I get the guys on. Guys, please like the live, send some gifts, do all of that. Really great stuff. If you missed some of the show, all of the shows are available in full on YouTube. While I wait for, let me read some of the comments. Okay, my favorite was Ted. So why was Ted allowed to change the culture? In fact, let me ask the comments. What would be okay? How do you change a soul? If you want to change the soul, what would you do? What would you do as an addition, or how do you go about changing the soul? Okay, something's happening here. Something's happening here. Let me just check. I just want to make sure, guys, something's wrong. I'm trying to start up the thing. Okay, let me do this for now. I'll just look for the guys who are Oh, there we go. Are we in? Evan. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Something's happening on my side here. Everything is frozen. Can you guys still hear me? Hopefully, you guys can still hear me. Guys in the comments, can you still hear me and see me? Okay, this is what we'll do. I'll continue and then we'll see if we can't bring the members in as we go along. So just for the sake of the show, I'll carry on bringing people in, but I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes to just state their case while I just figure out what's happening this side. Ongama, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Oti. How are you?
Hi, man. I'm good. Ongama, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. What do you have to say about this topic?
I don't know. Am I clear on that side?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah,
I can hear you
think I'm
perfectly.
clear now. Okay. Are we still speaking about the soul thing or
Yes,
what?
we're still speaking about the soul. Just very quickly.
HOT, this thing of a soul is very difficult, T. When I'm looking at this thing of a soul, it depends on what you have and what can work for the team. And sometimes, when I'm looking at our football, our players lacking ambition to do more for themselves and also to achieve more. There are no players that are willing to say, I want to advertise myself to be seen even in overseas. There is no ambition in a lot of the players. They are just playing for the contract and making sure that they just admire the contracts for themselves. So I feel like it's very difficult thing when to have a soul when they are people that are admiring the contracts when they are in the field. There is no ambition of saying, I want to advertise myself into overseas and making myself something more like about Dr. Kumalo. Dr. Kumalo were the people that wanted to be overseas, wanted to do more for themselves, making a short term for themselves. They do not have that ambition of saying, when I'm playing, I want to be known in overseas. I want to be, I want to be admired as a person that I am. We don't have that in our South African football. People are enjoying their contracts. When they get the above 700,000, they are suited in those contracts. They feel entitled in their contract. They say, if I have 700,000, There's nothing that wants me to be overseas. So most of the players admire the contracts and they don't want to extend their limits. They don't dream more to say I want to be in the next stage of football. You know, there's not that thing of saying I want to be in Europe. I want to be one of the best players playing in Bundesliga. I want to play with one of the about Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. There is no dream ambition in our players. When was the last time when I would sing a forward in South Africa coming from South African League, moving from South Africa to Europe? That means there is no ambition in our players. A winger coming from South Africa, moving to Europe. A midfielder coming from South Africa, moving to Europe. Most players that are coming from South Africa are defenders, OT. That means that is a problem. We don't produce football players from forwards. A winger going from South Africa to Europe. A midfielder from South Africa to Europe. Most of the players that are coming from South Africa to Europe, they come from development, straight from development to Europe, and then they come back in their later stages of the development when they are finishing their career. So we are lacking players with ambition and ideas to say, I want to go into the next level stage of my development to be a better version of myself. So I think that's what kills our football. I don't believe there is a football soul in that matter, but we're lacking ambition to see yourself in the better stages of football. That's my take on it.
Walter, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. What do you think about this conversation we're having? Welcome.
OT, thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm jumping in and just putting figures. I've been listening. I mean, I think Ubuhlali, for me, he spoke in depth and some of the topics that I like in terms of the question itself. To answer it directly, a team can lose its soul. I can make an example of my own team, which is Kaizer Chiefs. I think when I hear the question, a team can lose its identity, its style of play, its way of scouting, it's the way we attract the players that we want to play a certain type of way. But that way also must be a winning type of way. Now, I love how Ubuhlali also put it in a sense where now talking not only about the team, but South African football in general. I think maybe I'll be a bit different and just, say this. If our own way of doing things does not work, we also need to adapt. There's no use in watching entertaining football, but it doesn't win trophies. Trophies are important. Football, why we go and watch it is because we want to win. But at the very same time, I understand when people are crying for a winning mentality, are crying for a certain type of football that still represents the South African way, which is pretty, is on the ground. But at the very same time, guys, let's not forget, that's not the only way South African football can be represented. I can make an example with Hope. That's not a Pirates problem. It's a South African problem. It's a striking problem. It's the way we are developing our players to a point where if a striker is supposed to be someone who scores goals, regardless of the tactics, the coaches that we're implementing, or the coaches that we attract to these clubs, who maybe would play a certain type of way, like your Ernest Middendorf or European type of way. And as OT, one thing that you touched on, I think a lot of guys were avoiding, is meeting international standards. That's equally important. Adapting means we also need to be able to gauge ourselves with the best in the world. Like AFCON was a good representation that if we are adapting, that means Shushan and Pion is not the only way we can win. I mean, we play against East Africans who are physically strong. We can't really play our own game technically when we are playing against oppositions. When we are playing against North Africans, we can play that way because of the fact that they are not as strong and they can't adapt to our play, but they play very quick transitions, they're very quick with the ball. So those are the kind of things we need to start talking about. Our fans need to also look at football or watch football in a different way. I'm not saying everyone should have certificates in football, but there is a way of, like the question you're asking, there is a way of teaching how we should entertain ourselves with football, which is scoring goals, watching midfielders doing good passes, watching defenders defend very well, being part of what they are doing, and the excellence, the culture of football, the pride that we have in loving the game and the sport itself, and going to stadiums each and every week and every month. I think that's something we are shying away from. But ourselves, we just want to say, yeah, Mara, you need to add some flair. Yeah, we need to stand on the ball, do this and that. I don't think that's important if it doesn't come with a way of winning, a way of application, and a technical understanding of. For example, I know you said 2 minutes, but I'll leave with this point. Utito, he does what he does because the coach understands. Sometimes Magayenza, you could call it negative, but there's a time and place when he does it, which allows his team to position himself the certain way, or they've been playing with the same speed, or however the case may be. So it's not only about entertaining the crowd or but yeah, this is what we came to see. But there is a technical way as well. I would appreciate that if only the football also we are representing is actually winning us things, which, as you can see now in CAF competitions, the rest of the world is now looking to us. They are taking us serious. So it's not only just a sport that we love watching, but it's also coming with winning mannerisms, which I also appreciate. That's what I can say. Just Kanyani. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you, Walter. Guys, we're going to move into the member show. There's something wrong with the WhatsApp side, so I asked the members to jump in this side, and we're going to hear from them. Guys, as normal, it's a very open, member shows are open. So I'm going to ask some questions, I'll do whatever, but feel free to jump in as we normally do. If you want to become a member, we have a WhatsApp group that is very active, that is very great. So send me a DM if you want to be part of it, and I'll tell you how you can do it. I'm not allowed to say it out loud here. Anyway, members, welcome, man.
Yo, dango.
Guys, what is the soul? And that's what I want to know. What is the soul?
Hey, soul snatcher. We should be asking you because you're the ones that stood our soul.
What is the soul, guys? What is the soul? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to understand what we mean by it.
Linda's the one who started this thing.
No, man. OT, you see, the reason why we frown upon plagiarism in the scholarly world is not because we are jealous or anything. Is because when you're standing in front of the thesis committee, can you defend your position? Can you defend your paper? You know, so sometimes we take words from people and use them, but we don't understand the context in which they are used, don't even understand the words which are used, and we parade them without the knowledge. And when we ask you such kind of questions, what is a soul? We touch a lot of places which I can't mention, you know. So it's a very interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing. But let me make this disclaimer. I don't eat a custard at Lorokop. There's been those suggestions. I have never eaten a custard at Lorokop.
Maybe it's bullshit.
But for me, I think I'll talk about things that I know, which is culture, identity, and style of play.
Yeah.
And we use those things interchangeably, but they don't necessarily mean the thing. I don't know where soul would fit in, because I think by soul they mean culture. So I don't know, you know. And also the style of play sometimes is used with interchangeably with an identity, but the style of play is a subsection of an identity of a team, you know. Like now the identity of Sundowns is excuse me, is to have more possession than the other team. That is its identity, to dominate the ball. But the style of play will differ in terms of your tiki-takas and other variations of possession of football. So that is a style of play. It's not the same as identity. And then you look at the culture. Culture goes just beyond the style of play. It goes on how is the team interacting with fans, how like now there's a culture Sundowns to sign South Americans. It's a culture now. Style of, if you go to Paris, they will always have the culture of having at least one development player in the squad. They'll have a culture of, you see, Muti jokes. They'll have a culture of having speedy wingers. That is culture, So you can see there is culture, identity, and style of play. So those are good terminologies that I can speak of. I'll allow the members to teach me. I don't know.
Members, what is a soul, man?
I answer questions which I know of. Soul, Sam will answer.
Maybe a soul is I guess, the way that guy was saying it on the other side. He was just saying the way Sundowns playing was changed. But the problem is with these guys, they don't mind when they are winning. But then if they take a lose and then they will start and come and say, "Hi, we are changing this and this and this and this." Obviously, that guy will change because he's a new guy. He's trying a different thing. When you play FIFA OT, when you play FIFA, I play with you first half. I go to formation. Okay, this guy better get the sides. Okay, I go to 5-3-2. I'm trying to block what you are doing on the side so that you don't cross the ball and header in. And then I will see second half how it goes. Same thing that happens to Pirates and Sundowns go Loftus. Okay, the pitch was wet, the oil is fine. But what happened is we tried pound for pound game. We played our 4-3-3, they hammered us. Guess what? A rematch came. Okay, these guys are better than us as a team. Let's do what? We consolidate, we wait for them. They come, we go get the count. We beat them. That's what you do as a good coach. This thing, hey, so what? You lose 5-0 in five games in a row, trying to be, I don't know. That's why Sundowns is winning, not winning the Champions League. Because they will win the league because the computer against ROC or one. So they will beat Arrows because the Arrows they don't have the financial power like Ahly, Wydad, and all those teams because they can sign good players as well. So when you meet your peers, they will beat you because they have what you have. So you must make a plan right now. How are you going to counter what they have? So that's what Cardoso is trying to do.
So can I ask, Prasem, what do you say to people that would say that, okay, Pirates is 4-3-3, Bashapa for 1. Maybe they shouldn't have gone back and become defensive. Maybe the onus is on the coach to figure out how to make the 4-3-3 more dangerous or more effective instead of changing the structure of the team completely. What do you say? So I want an example formation, man. Maybe Kikena go that other menu, Kireno, direct passing, Kireno, sit back. That's what. Instead of changing the formation. What do you say to people that have that argument that Pirates should have gone back, looked at their 4-3-3 and said, okay, how do we make this 4-3-3, even if it means now we must score more than the other team? What do you say to people that say that no, this guy change,
no, we can't make it big there because now let's look at what we have. Let's look what Sundowns have. Sundowns have expensive quality players. We have development players. So how can we try to match those guys while they have 100 million players and then we have development players? We just have to know our team and then you plan properly. That's how you win. That's why you see the game against Sundowns, Pirates Sundowns, and the game at Pirates Stellenbosch will be different because we know Stellenbosch, we are better than them. We have to attack them. What does Stellenbosch do? They park the bus and wait for us. That's where the dynamics comes where now you know your opponent. You can't just go play Sundowns the same, you go play Stellenbosch the same, you go play Amazul the same. that's where the problem will start, because when I want to play the same football across, you must change this thing so that you don't become too predictable. Predictable, something like that. Because now people know, okay, you're coming with Mufukeng on the left, Ngota on the right, Tito in the middle. We close those ones, we are done. And then Rivoro, okay, these ones are doing like this. Hotro, go forward. Mufukeng, go center. Ngota outside. Dlamini on the... That's how you're trying to play around with the opponent. When they're playing like this, you come like this. And then second half, when they're trying to figure out what we are playing, you come and then you bring Mufukeng in, you take out Dlamini. That's what we play around your system.
Yeah.
You confuse the enemy. But then, yeah, Soul get Xavier, to be honest. I have no idea of Soul game, but yeah.
Okay. Who else wants to jump in, gents?
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
Let me just start by saying this. So looking music eri mamelanga sandemo metrefem. We only talk about soul when your team is losing. No, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you a lot of examples. There's a lot of examples. I'll go locally and internationally. Manchester United giver. We've had Sir Alex Ferguson do what he did for 26 years. And then he retires.
Consistently for 26 years.
Exactly. Now comes David Moyes. Now they start talking about soul. Come Van Hal. Dilodia tlhaga FA Cup ya zwala mara still holeliwa ka soul. Soul ya tlaka Mourinho a change no ke heritage a isa le soul. So we'll be going back and forth. It's because they're not winning. I mean, I'll go to who's this? Barcelona. What is Barcelona known for? Tiki-taka. So we can look from Rijkaard to Guardiola to Valverde to Luis Enrique. But during the times when Champions Leagues were not coming forth, and when they are making very expensive signings, and there was no La Masia graduate. Now they're saying, hi man, the identity is because the right outcome is not coming right, because the games are not winning, or they're not winning the trophies that they want to win. Because honestly, Real Madrid now, what can you identify with Real Madrid? You won't say much because they are winning Champions League. But then as soon as they start losing, this topic will come again when they talk Real Madrid. You see, so I don't see Asul get all fire chicken leg or get music. I think.
Mara, can I ask, when you're looking at this thing and we're speaking about these teams, you know, in the group we had a conversation about winning football and is winning a culture or whatever. Ne? You look at Manchester United, they lose Sir Alex Ferguson. They try bringing Moyes. You look at some of the other teams that have struggled after making big changes. Arsenal's one of them, for example. Is the mistake stepping away from what you know? So, for example, if Kaizer Chiefs played a certain way, the moment they went a different direction, because now, for example, with Chiefs, I know that the coaches only got 2 years. There was a certain level of player that was that Kaizer Chiefs that you could trust to make decisions on your behalf. You come in, you steer for 2 years, you leave, somebody else comes in. I don't think there was a set style of play in my memory of Kaizer Chiefs, right? But then they looked at Sundowns and said, hey, Sundowns, that thing they're doing with Pitso, man. A local coach, he's young, he's up and coming, he was a good mid-table coach. Let's give him a chance. And then the wheels start coming off, right? Do you think that anything would have changed if you continue on with what you were doing? So Stuart Baxter does the 2 years, you bring in another Stuart Baxter that does 2 years, you bring in another one that does 2 years, and you carry on the way you're going? Is the mistake when they move away from their culture? That's the issue.
I think coming back to the point of they were winning with Stuart. And once they left, the mistake they made is, I can't say it's a mistake, because now it's a matter of what the club wants as far as direction is concerned. And then also they have to accept that with this direction, you should expect a period where it's like the results won't come your way, but then you can see that there's something there. And then that something will probably yield results at the end. But then obviously if you're going to bring another Baxter, the only obstacle you have is that the game changes, and also the players maybe with time, with age, now you have to bring in that certain quality of players that will keep continuing the style of play that you're doing. I mean, I would give an example of Ahly. It's a matter, they play the way they play, and all they do is that players come in, they come and go, but they still keep to the style of play. They just bring in the quality that will keep to that style of play. And that style of play seems to be winning games unless they face Pitso or Sundowns where Babafa Chisamba. Yeah.
Okay. Karim?
OT,
What is the soul, man? I want to know about the soul, man.
Now I'm still soul searching. My soul left me on Sunday. Yeah. Yes, this one is quite very, very, very broad. For me, the soul, if you put it in terms of football, I would say is the philosophy of a team. If you look at Google's definition of philosophy, it says it's a
guys, what's
for me
happening?
that fits to what everyone was saying: identity, culture. So if you have a philosophy, then you can build on that to say, okay, we're working towards this. To get, this is our philosophy. This is how we're gonna recruit. This is how we're gonna play, because it acts as a guide how the team moves forward. For me, I think there's two prime examples of teams that play winning football and the other team that plays for the art of football. And I always say there's two types of people and teams which play to win, and teams which play the art of football, and fans who enjoy the art, and fans who enjoy results only. And two prime examples, I always say it's Barcelona and Real Madrid. Real Madrid is a team that wins, invests in winning, buying the best players. They don't care how they win, as long as they win. That's their culture, that's their philosophy. On the other hand, you have Barcelona, a team that it invests in the art. They put the art first, and they also try to balance it with winning results. That's why I say those two, because Barca balances winning and playing beautiful football. And for me, that's where the division comes, where people look at some people look at just the results, and other people also look at the impact. For some people, I would say, or let me not say I would say, some people would say Ancelotti is the greatest coach ever. Other coaches would say is because of his impact, how he revolutionized the game. You look at your Johan Cruyff. He's regarded as the father of football, because the way he changed football. His impact is so. But is he the best in terms of trophies? No. Marcelo Bielsa, same thing. Is he the best in terms of trophies? No. But his impact overall, how he revolutionized the game. That's also something people just don't look at, and I feel like the difference that comes here is that people want to impose what they like. I like winning, so this is the right way. I like the art of football, so this is the right way. I think that's where we get it wrong, where we want to impose what we like. And I think that's the and another thing.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Just speaking to this picture you have here, Rulani and Cardoso, I would say a team can lose its soul. You have Rulani, on the other hand, who would never compromise how Sundowns plays. This is how we play. Whether we win or we lose, we're gonna die playing this way. Then you have Cardoso on the other hand, who says no, we need to change how we play in order to get results. We need to tweak how we play to get results. That's where he compromises the soul, if I may put it in a way. Understandably, that's also something Pitso did when we won CAF. There were games where when we leading, he would put in defenders to kill the game.
Yeah.
For me, that's not killing the soul. You killing the game. You're killing the game. That's understandable. But if you go to a game from the beginning, you're playing defensively. That's something else. You're no longer using the club's philosophy. You basically killing how the club identifies itself. If you're going into a game defending, saying you're going to defend, my argument would say, would you ever see Barcelona going into a game defending? You would never see that. Barcelona, when they go into a game, they're going to defend. They would never even kill a game by defending. They defend by playing. That's the way they play. For me, I would say, for us here in SA, like Sundowns and how we play, I think we need to evolve and maximize, similar to what Barcelona did. Barcelona didn't compromise and say, okay, we're gonna start defending and playing counter attacks, but we're gonna maximize. Look at Barcelona; it's evolution. They started with total football, and then they started getting results. Started losing, not winning Champions League. They evolved, brought in tiki-taka. The evolution didn't bring any defending football or counter-attacking. It's still attacking football, but they just tweaked total football into tiki-taka. Even now, they're no longer playing position only based football. It's possession based mixed with direct football, but you don't see any defensive. So that's why I'm using Barcelona as a prime example to say this team doesn't compromise on how they play. This is how they play, regardless whether they win or lose. It's up to you as fans to say, okay, I like this team, I'm going to follow this team. But you can't include other people and say, no, this football is not giving you any results. What if I don't care about results? I care about the art.
Okay.
Right? Care about the results and don't care about the art. Yeah, it's a very this topic, sensitive one.
Zamalek, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just did Sangoti.
Hey, Kishapo man.
I go to the soul.
I'm the Grim Reaper. I'm the Grim Reaper, man.
And I think we're confusing football, eh? We're confusing, as agent said, they're confusing identity, heritage, culture. I'll go into it. Let's like I can Arto. Ratlagadi 442. Ratlagadi 4411. I think at some point there was 4231 at some point, and then there was like 433. Rebuladi number 10. And what are we on now? What are we using now? Then there was
Then
there was 343. There was 343 that was used by Conte, which was unbelievable when it was introduced. Hey, I want to go into this thing, especially let me go into Cardoso and especially let me just stick locally.
Okay.
Cardoso and Yose. Maybe we don't need to look for. These are coaches who have in a way have found a way to use our home-based players to play our own football. I don't know why people are complaining about whether we're being defensive or not. If you look at how we defend differently. And if you look at the Pirates game and how Sundowns defended, both teams were defending in their second legs, but they were defending differently. Sundowns was defending with the ball. Pirates were defending without the ball. Pirates were teaching themselves how to. I think this is where you start saying, you see, agents love saying, I love a coach who adapts and learns how to find solutions to problems. And now we have found coaches who are no longer one dimension in the PSL. And the game is becoming interesting. We're seeing players that, like for the longest of times, we used to cry, Guti, like even if a team is losing, your team is losing, and then they're still playing long balls. But now you can see Sundowns moving the ball quicker, going direct. Sometimes they even play it short, and then sometimes you go on the transition, and you're like, how can this team with Matthews? Because they were supposed to go through the middle at some point.
Yeah.
And I was talking about Yose at some point. You know, the last season, I remember asking Guti, are Sundowns fans ready to say, okay, not a sharper defender, like the Pirates fans? I mean, we were playing our second leg home, but the stadium was still on because they were so happy, Guti, the team is not considering anything.
Yeah.
And yes, we love entertaining football as Pirates fans. We love football entertaining. But the moment you see Hore, man, people are no longer running for the sake of running. People are running to cover spaces. People are running to only a specific movement. So you see what Dion, it's a 5, it's a back 5. And you see Hore, they don't just press, they don't just walk. They like there's a certain movement in it. You become proud of it. And that's why I'm gonna also give Cardoso. People were saying Sales before he even took over Sundowns. People were saying Sales ke komu, Sales haiti bolo. They used money, what. But since he came to Sundowns, he has proved Guti, he knows what he's doing. I mean, what Grande, what Divine, we are seeing what T1 even play. And I don't remember last time, except this time as far as we're pinpointing a South African go Sundowns or pinpointing someone saying they're having a bad game go Sundowns. Man, these people, that's why for now, it's not about the soul. Yes, the club will always have an identity of saying we want to play this way. But you need to at some point accept, Guti, we need to move in a direction a footballer it benefiting the club also. The worst example, a club who were focused on identity and won nothing is Arsenal. Never busy da. We are playing beautiful football. We are playing good football. We want movement. Arsene Wenger does so, but Lisa. But what did that get you? One trophy in how many years? Nothing. So you learn to adapt. For the first time, you say, and I'm gonna actually take this to also Pep Guardiola. We were talking about Champions League. We said Champions League, Champions League. You need. Madrid proved to her you don't need to play proper football, entertaining football to win. Yes, you do need certain moments whereby you can create that. But if you focus on like getting the team right, getting your defense right, getting your movements right, chances are you're gonna win it on the line. So this thing is so. I mean, who's coaching Angelotti? Who was the coach before? You see the certain types of coaches that have coached Conte. And I'm gonna go into this thing again. Yeah, I said this Arsenal team is a cup winning team. If it wasn't for rotation, I think the FA Cup and Carabao they could have taken it. Reason I said that is because of this team. People maybe banana when you keep position is position. It's just that sometimes you occupy spaces to the point that the team you're playing against, they can't get out and they can't get the ball. So the ball is moved quicker, and then that's why you find yourself having more of the position. That's the thing that happened with Pep. It was the first time we saw Pep Guardiola defend against Atletico when they won the Champions League in the semis or quarters, I think. Man, Pep accumulates agent Maravik. This coaches is about time they realize, and it's about time you also realize, Guti, this thing of being I don't know how you could hard-headed and saying this thing works. Yes, it works, but you need to sometimes tweak it to find solutions. Because if you stick to one thing, well, the moment you start having problems in that formation or situation, you won't find solutions because you'll be stuck into one thing. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I wanna jump in and just say for me, I'm one of the people, because I'm an Arsenal fan. I think I've developed this thing where I go, I don't believe there's wrong football. I don't believe there's the right way to go win games or a wrong way to go win games. I just think that you need to be committed to whatever you are doing. And a lot of the time, what's killing a lot of our teams is that they're not committed fully to the thing that they're signing up for. So Chiefs, has half-heartedly made changes, man. Ba kenya loto, hanyane, then they go and they change and they do something else. Instead of going, okay, we are gonna go full on down this path. And when you go full on down this path, it means that you have to do the entire thing, not just the thing we always used to speak about on the show. You don't just copy page 9 of Mamelodi Sundowns' book. If you want to be Mamelodi Sundowns, you want to play like them, you have to go all the way down to page 1 and build that thing out. So an example of this is Liverpool. A lot of people think that Liverpool is Liverpool right now because they're just so great and Klopp was the... No, they changed everything in the back. They fired people. They changed their whole structure. They went into a stats approach. The chief executive who was brought in was an analyst in the club. Then they made him the chief executive so that they could move the club into data. They changed the way they do transfers to match up with Klopp, and Klopp came in and they sat down. You have to do surgery in order to do these things. I always point to Mamelodi Sundowns because I know people always speak about Motsepe's money and all of that stuff. No! Motsepe realized at some point that I have to deliver this whole thing and I have to build something from scratch that's new, full out throughout the club, wherever we are going with the direction. And where Man United and all of those clubs, I think, falter is that I don't know what direction Man United is going into. I don't know. I can't tell you. Amorim is different to Ten Hag, who's different. And then Ed Woodward is different to the guy from Brighton they got. Is Dan Ashworth, whatever, is different to another guy because now they demoted this one. Like, I don't know what direction that club is going into. And the moment there's that, you don't have the line to say this is what we're building towards and where we are going. You don't know your route. Unzo shapari detour because something else is catching your eye. So I think that is what's happening. But I've got a question. Agent, are we overreacting? Is this not just how much of this is just part of the process, man? It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be whatever.
Can I eat my custard now?
You want to eat your custard?
I want to eat my custard.
Yeah.
You know what I find funny, OT, right? Under Coach Pitso, I'm not going to have the time to list everything out, but under Coach Pitso, the highest average possession we've had in a season, all the seasons, 8 years, was 55% average the entire season. 55%. Under Coach Rulani last season, he had 63.39 percentage average. In his first season, he had 59.38 possession average. This season, we have 63. You know, I had my brother Karim mentioning Barcelona. Peak Barcelona had 72%, so 71% possession. That was peak Barcelona. This season, they have 64.72%. So which one has dropped in terms of average possession? You know? And here's another magic trick. If you look at the number of points we had as Sundowns, right? This season we have drawn 1, lost 3 points. That is how many? That is 14 points lost, right? In our almost invincible season, we had 7 draws and 1 win, and 1 loss, sorry. That is 19 points lost. You look at the goals that we scored 52 goals last season in 30 games. This season, in 23 games, we have scored 51. So I don't know which culture have we lost. I don't know. Like I'm struggling to find the identity, the soul that we have lost. Is the same thing. The same possession is still the same thing. If in fact is higher than that we had under Coach Rulani's first season, you know, and it's slightly slower than that we had under Coach Kado. I mean under Rulani's best season. You know, 3%. That's 3% in terms of ball possession. So I don't know, Shem. I'm looking for it, you know, and people talk about the consistency. As I'm saying, if you talk of consistency, let's consider cups. You know, cups. You know, I know people are it's not points, but you know, in a cup there is still lose, draw, and win in cups. You still know that, right? If you look at last season, we drew 16 games. We won 36. And yeah, 16 draws last season. This season is only 6 and 28.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they mean by consistency. We're averaging more points, we're averaging more goals, the possession is almost the same. So I don't know, Shem.
But I still want to ask the question because I want to address this change thing. We point at Coach Pitso, right? And we forget that even in his time, people were not happy with him. You know, we've spoken about Ted Dimitri coming to Chiefs. Surely that's a change. You know what I mean? Like that was a change that was made. You look at Shushan in Piano when Prasten went and fetched it from Italy. You know what I mean? Those are all changes.
You forget, we are going too far. People didn't like Rulani.
How
many times
the
you come with this
chameleon.
same panel?
Yeah.
Same panel I said the game is not boring. It's tactical.
Yeah.
That was me.
No,
defending
but
Rulani. So
is it, are we just overblowing this thing? Because is it just how it is, and then tomorrow when it works out, we'll all look back and say, Pitso was a genius, or Rulani was a genius, or things like that. Is it just part of the process?
No, we are. You know, even the foreigners thing, I heard someone mention the foreigners thing. Sundowns this season has the least number of foreigners than it has had in the last 10 years. Think about it. But still, somehow, the foreigners issues keep popping up. You know? So, I think it's just a case of we have social media now where people can talk, you know, and and the influence of content creators. I guess la robola mana la robola too much, you know. Where else about how Chiefs is a middle average team, or you know, I had someone using that term and people are having him, you know. So you must explain what you mean by Chiefs is an average middle team. You know, but no, thanks man. Let me watch the Ramutanda.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait a bit. I don't want to put my soul through that. Let me wait 10 minutes. I'll just finish off the live, then I'll watch. Guys, Stereophonic, I want to ask you the same question. Is this not just part of change, man? It's part of change. It's going to be uncomfortable. I mean, people don't tell you about Pep Guardiola the first season in England. I think he finished third or fourth or something, because even he said that, hey, I needed to adapt. You know, Jurgen Klopp, when he arrived at Liverpool, the first season, the first two seasons, it was a little bit tough. Things happened. Coach Pitso, people booing him. People were booing him at the end of his time. At some point, cops were taking him. You know, maybe Ernst Middendorf, if he got a second year, we would have looked back at that differently. Isn't this part of change, man?
Okay, I wanted to, before I get to that, I wanted to emphasize a point, Agent. The difference between Sundowns last season and this season is that Pirates is doing better. That's all. As much as the statistics you're giving, Pirates is just doing better. So, but Wami, you know, and Pirates fans are believing. Last season, you finished the league with how many games left? You guys won the league with how many games left? By December, we knew, or it's not a matter of if, but when.
Yeah.
But this season, Reminyala games in hand are won. So I'm just emphasizing the point that you're making, that there's not much difference.
Yeah.
You're probably having a bit of a better season, but the only difference is that there's a better Pirates team. Coming back to what you're saying, and I still mention this, even now we look at Pitso. When Pitso came in, you must remember, Sundowns, I think, were 15th.
Yeah, number 14, 15,
that season. And he was fighting top 8. But by his second season, and let me not even say, his first full season, he won the league.
He won the league, yeah.
Yeah. But now coming back to Chiefs, Middendorp, even his first season after Ted, and then back with helicopter football, I think we all saw this coming, and I don't know what was happening with us. I think when we brought him back, it showed us, it was no longer about soul, but it's more like a low self-esteem from management, because we saw what is happening. Fine, given the fact that he got us to second place. Fair enough, he had probably the worst second half of the season of probably any team that I've ever seen in the PSL. Because even defensively, he had only Polokwane City at the time had a worse defense than Kaizer Chiefs at the second half of the season or during the bubble. So that just so showed us, wow, you didn't need another year. This is just, it was a meltdown that we were witnessing.
But
It
then
was a
why don't we...
Yeah, helicopter football.
Mara, why don't we say the first half of the season was so good and it came down to the last day, even though the second half was so bad. It was so good that it was last day, the final day.
Let me ask you this as a fellow Chiefs supporter. Do you believe Middendorp would have taken us to the final of the Champions League? Personal opinion.
Probably not, but that's not because of him.
Okay.
I can explain. I mean it in the sense of expecting the coach to go to the final of the Champions League after a team has not been in the Champions League since I don't know when. First year is not something that I would say whoever was the coach, even Jose right now, he's doing miracles in my eyes, right? So I wouldn't expect it from him, if that makes sense.
Touche. But like I said, that's why when you're coming back to topics like these, and I think the guys on the panel mentioned that, probably the only team example where you can say, as much as they have their soul, but even if they deviated, once they came back to what we know them to be, they are performing at their ultimate is Barcelona. And then the rest is just a matter of what do you want? Like the guys on the panel are saying, it's just basically two things. Do you want to win or do you want the art? And it literally, that's what separates every football fan right now. Actually, there's even a third one, which is the Betway crew, but Asikolap, but just the main two.
Can I ask?
That's what
why do we talk about these things as though they're mutually exclusive, man?
They actually
you can't have one without the other, or the expectation. I think my worry with our conversation about South African football now, it feels as though, to be honest, there's no expectation to win. If that makes sense. Like, it's almost like we're saying, if you are beautiful, quote unquote, Luzani, guys, Mara, I'm entertained. But the moment somebody comes in, and this is the fight I was having with Nkululeko, where I was saying, Mara, can't I be beautiful and go and expect that beautiful to go win? Because that's what underpins Barca. Barca wants to win. They want to win. Arsenal, on the other hand, Joe, as long as it looks good, man. It's like an Akashem thing. As long as it looks good, we're fine. But Barcelona goes, it must look good and we must go win. Why don't we have that expectation? Or add the expectation?
I'm going to. Simply, okay. I doubt there's any South African football supporter that would want us to play beautifully and not win. Because then we'll have another big, not Figilem Balula thing where we just say, but they're a bunch of losers. So right now the attention is on Bafana because they're winning. They're not playing the prettiest, but they're very effective. I must give them that. Very effective in the way they play. And even the rest of Africa is like, the South got something to say. As not beautiful as they are, but they're very effective. So like you say, I think I agree with you with the fact that the football purist would want to have one with the other. I doubt there's any football fan that wants to lose. I doubt. Losing and saying, Mara, I doubt. I really doubt.
Arsenal. Anyway, let me go to Karim.
Banter years were not fun.
They're not fun. And we kept saying, Pep Guardiola said the only team is afraid of is Arsenal. Hey, those are dark days. Let me not get into that. That's what, Pep is always, man. If you're not a challenge to
like
Pep,
Pitso with
he
Pirates.
speaks nicely about you.
But it's like Pitso with Pirates.
But let me
them 6-0.
Let me bring in Karim. I have the same question for you, man. Are we just overreacting, man. Is this not what comes with change? If at all it's change, isn't this part of it? It's going to be uncomfortable. We might not like it. And it's only 3 years from now or 4 or 5 years from now, you'll look back and say, wow, actually, that was what we're playing now is what we're playing now because of that time. And it was needed.
So for me, OT, is it positive change or negative change? You see, we've been talking about adapting and evolving, but are we adapting positively or negatively? When I'm saying positive, when you're positive, are you adapting, attacking, or negatively, are you defending? That's the change there we need to discuss, because you can adapt positively, and we talk about Rulani as if he never evolved, he was never changing his style of play. But if you look his when he started, he was playing a diamond system, and then when teams caught up to that, he started introducing that fishing tactic where he draws the opponent into the build-up play and then he attacks you. And then when they caught onto that, he changed and then introduced inverting to create the overloads. So he kept evolving, and his evolution was always positive, attacking. But then you have, on the other hand, Cardoso who evolves negatively. He says, okay, I want change, I want to win, but I'm gonna attack, but also gonna have a negative side to it where I also defend. So it's two sides to this. You can attack, you can evolve positively, you can evolve negatively, but which one you like, that's another thing as fans. Whether we like the negative evolution or the positive evolution, that's two different things. That's the concern there. Are we taking the negative approach to win over time? As I say, I think I said it previously, I don't mind Cardoso winning CAF 1, 2, 3 times so we can build that football heritage. We don't have that right now. We build heritage, then we go back to our basics, playing football, focus on playing football, focus on win and also playing. I don't mind that happening, but for now, I don't mind if we go in the negative way just to win. To be honest, Rulani, I didn't see him winning CAF anytime soon. Maybe once in 5 years he would have, but we needed this change. Someone who's gonna get us the titles. Then maybe we can go back to our basics.
Okay. No, Karim, thank you so much, guys. My team is playing, so I'm gonna close. Thank you so much to the members that joined. If you want to be a member, send me a DM. I'll tell you how to become a member, and you can join the WhatsApp group where we have these conversations literally every single day. All I'm gonna say for me personally is that I think whatever you want to do, you have to do it well. If you want to be a defensive winning team, you have to be the best defensive winning team that you can be. If you want to be an attacking winning team, you have to be the best attacking winning team that you want to be. If you want to be the possession, if you want to do all of those things. I think what has diluted our football quite a bit is the fact that sometimes we are trying to do things that we have no business trying to do. I'll highlight Steve Kompela playing it out from the back at Golden Arrows and getting beaten game after game after game because he was stubborn in thinking that his players have to play this specific way. And I will force it down instead of at some point going, what is the identity of this team? How do we use the best of these players and go from there? Maybe it even comes down to coaches picking the right jobs. Maybe don't go to a possession-based team if you're a counter-attacking coach. Don't go to whatever, because those things also matter, right? If you look at a club, going from Dortmund to Liverpool, even from a culture standpoint, sort of made sense with the COP and how they are and how emotional the Dortmund fans were with their connection with the coach and all of those type of things, right? So that's why I say, for me, again, what are your results? I look at results. I don't necessarily look at the football. I look at the people who go, okay, this is what I am meant to be doing. This is what I understand. This is what I know. And I know it so well that I'm going to go win. The reason why I hold Abu Gavin Hunt in high regard, even though it's been going off of the rails, he looked at those teams when he was winning the leagues and he said, guys, this is my team. I could pine, I could want to get all of the different players, I could want to do all of these different things. It's just not going to happen. These are the guys that I have. Let's play the football that we understand. Let's go win with that football. I don't have to be technically better. I don't have to be any of these other things. I just have to be good at what I am. So at times I look at this thing and I go, sometimes we're also trying to put square pegs into round holes. Some teams, we keep saying, the North, they're not technical enough. They're not good enough. They can't dribble. They can't minus. They can't do all of those things. Do you know what the North said? The North said, I don't need to measure myself on what South Africa's doing because we can't do that. Let's figure out our own football and build it to the point where it is that. And you may think it's ugly. Somebody else may think it's ugly. But hey, that's what it is. At the peak of football, where we all loved it in the early 2000s, wherever, you'd look at it, you'd say, Brazil is playing to the best of their ability. Germany is playing to the best of their ability. Spain is playing to their best, to the best of their individual ability. But the difference is, those countries looked at their football and they invested and they went hard into it, similar to what the countries in the North usually do with their teams. So that's where I'm sitting, and I'm literally just going, guys, if we talk about this beautiful football, let's make it so beautiful or so great that it goes and wins elsewhere. If it can't go stand with the world, then I don't know. So when people say to me, Mamelodi Sundowns, South African football is better than everybody, but every time you face those guys, they've beaten you, you are not better. You just look good, but you're not better. Because every time you've gone up against those guys, 8 out of 10 times, they've knocked you out. You could not figure them out. So in a competitive level, they are better. We may complain about how great it looks and, oh, look at the passing and all of that stuff. But Ahly lifts that trophy how many times? How many times? And that is what we need to do. Argentina needed to figure out how to take that Argentinian football with Messi, with everybody, and go win. That's when we look at them. All of the guys we look at, what is the greatest thing about them? They win. But Ronaldinho, but R9, but Messi, but Ronaldo, they're great. Why? They win. Whatever football they play. But anyway, guys, Arsenal's got a penalty. I'm going to see you then on Friday. So Friday, we're going to do the live watch-along of the CAF Champions League. I beg to differ. Rulani football was doing great against the best. Well, every semi-final says different. Couldn't even get to the final like that. So is he the best? Was he doing best? Or was he beating a team in the group stages? But when it mattered, who was winning those games? Anyway, guys, I'll see you on Friday for the watch along. And then Saturday, I will be at Loftus for that game. But anyway, guys, bye-bye. Oh, sesluzile. Oh, sesluzile. I can't blame him for player mistakes, but I can give credit to Ahly for being able to have same players, same 90 minutes, same things happening, and winning it over and over and over and over and over again. I can't say the same about Sundowns, even when they had a long-term coach. Rulani got what? 3 bites at the apple, technically. All right, guys. Oh, AFL. What's the AFL doing today? Okay.